I will never ever tire of hearing someone in the depths of sleep deprivation and then see the end result. That's the bit I love. It's just seeing someone obviously sleeping and the health benefits that come with that for both parent and child.
The Bishop Stortford Community Podcast is all about shining a light on the businesses, community leaders and local legends that make our town a great place to live. But behind the scenes, to run the podcast, it does cost money. So we've set up a simple way for you to support the podcast through the Giving Lottery. It's just £1 per week, and every week you're in with a chance to win a prize. And a portion of that money goes directly into supporting the podcast and creating more stories and more interviews like today's. If you'd like to support what we're building here, the link's in the show notes. Thanks in advance for your support. Okay, back to the episode. Welcome to the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast, the show where we shine a light on the incredible businesses, community leaders and local legends shaping our town. I'm your host, James O'Donnell, and today we are joined by Emma Osborne. Emma, great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
No problems. Emma, for those of us who don't know you yet, who are you and what do you do here in Bishop Stortford?
So I am a sleep consultant and a night nanny, and I support families to build healthy sleep foundations from newborn to school age. And I create tailored evidence-based sleep support that help parents to feel calm and confident and, most importantly, well rested.
I've been there myself with a child who doesn't go to sleep when you want him to. Can be incredibly frustrating. You think you're doing something wrong. How many people have you helped?
So I've been working with children for 20 years. And then I set up my business Hushaboo in 2013, and it's hundreds now of families, which is amazing. But even having done it for so long, I will never ever tire of hearing someone in the depths of sleep deprivation and then see the end result. That's the bit I love. It's just seeing someone obviously sleeping and the health benefits that come with that for both parent and child. But it is just seeing someone actually enjoy parenting, because there's a whole lot that you can do to help support sleep. And then the aftermath is you can enjoy, you can wake up refreshed. I remember with my son actually waking up having missed him. You know, that's a feeling I want all parents to have, is to wake up and, look forward to seeing them in the morning. Everyone's had a good night's sleep, and it just means that the day can run very, very differently to if you're already starting it, having seen them multiple times through the night.
Yeah. I think if that routine isn't working properly, and I've certainly experienced this before, you almost put off bedtime because you kind of like, I'm going to have to go through that process too much, and you put it off and you procrastinate on it, which makes it even worse.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think bedtime should be a nice end to the day. I mean, we're all exhausted by the end of the day, and it is a difficult time of day when everyone's getting a bit tired, but it should still be a nice way. It shouldn't be a battle. Occasionally there might be teething with younger ones, there might be toddler tantrums going on. Children do push boundaries, of course, from time to time, but on the whole, bedtime should be a really nice wind down and a cuddle and a story, not this part of the day that you dread because you just don't know what's in store.
At what point do you think it makes sense for a parent to reach out to you? The reason I say that is because I think all babies at some point struggle to get to sleep. But at what point do you think it's worthwhile reaching out and having a conversation?
I think it's whenever you feel like you have lost control of the situation. And that will be different for everybody, to be honest. I get some people reach out during pregnancy who know that they want the support, even for first time round. They think, right, no, but they've heard from a friend just how much help a night nanny can be, and just getting those sleep foundations in from the start. And for others, some people I meet out, not as a sleep consultant and not through the business, I will, obviously chat to them about what I do, and they'll tell me all sorts of stories, and they've never reached out. They just, got through it. And then there's everything in between. So I really think it's when you feel as a parent, you need to try and fix it. If it's become too overwhelming, you're just too tired. But that biting point is so different for every parent.
So if I'm at that point now where I'd like to have a conversation, what's the first few things that you start asking them so that you can understand where they're at and how you can support them? I'm just thinking, if I want to reach out to you now, what am I expecting?
So it obviously depends on the child's age, but I would be looking at are the is the sleep experience they're having within the normal parameters. Have I got someone coming to me with a 3-month old expecting them to sleep through the night? My answer would be highly unlikely. Very few do, but most don't. Most are still obviously waking for night feeds. So first and foremost, I'm just looking at actually have they got an issue with sleep that can be fixed. And then after that, it's just looking at where are they hoping to get to, and yeah, what's actually going to. Sometimes it comes down to personality. So a lot of the time, it's how children are in themselves. You mentioned before when we chatted about your boys have got high energy. That's a huge factor when it comes to the sleep. So it's just making sure that what they're trying to achieve is going to be possible, and how much what the influences are, and are they in a space, are they ready to actually go forward with some sleep support. A lot of what I do is confidence. It's almost coaching. So yes, I give advice. Yes, I look at, I bring all my experience to the table, but so much of what I do actually is just giving confidence to parents to actually look at their own situation so that hopefully they never have to come back to me again. That's the idea. I have some clients who are on the end of a WhatsApp I had I think it was last night. No, it's tonight. I've got a testimonial going out with a client who I worked with both of her boys for 5 years. But every time she reached a little niggle, she reached out and just had either a quick call or a quick WhatsApp. But for most, the idea is that I obviously solve whatever it is that they're experiencing, and give them the confidence to be able to then sort it out for themselves further down the line.
And is the work that you do with people, do you go and sit with them and talk through things, or do you actually spend some time of a night time going through the process with them? What kind of expectation should I have as a parent?
So I offer remote packages, and a lot of people, especially since COVID, yeah, I used to travel all over the place doing, face-to-face visits, but actually now I always start off with a phone call, and some people don't need any more. We have the consultation, which is usually about an hour and a half. We go through everything from personality to sleep environment to history to feeding, look at absolutely everything with a fine tooth comb, and then come up with a plan. And then I support them remotely. However, where I differ from, as I gather from a lot of sleep consultants, is that I then do also offer the hands-on support. So yes, I do. I work up to 5 nights a week, which is mad, really. But yeah, that's most people's reaction. But a good week is only 2 or 3 nights. But yeah, I'm quite busy. And so, yeah, I love being able, again, it's that confidence. It's some people just need me to come in and almost do it either for them or with them to show them what their child is capable of. Because sometimes, even though you've been told, you might have read, ChatGPT and books and listened to podcasts and all sorts of information, be overloaded, and you almost know what you should be doing, but it's just having someone actually coming in and guiding you. So yeah, I work remotely initially, but there is that option available and I would probably say around a third to a quarter of people that I work with end up having me come and do a night or two, just to give them those tools to then go for it alone.
Yeah, I can totally see the benefit of that. The thing with ChatGPT and other, just general search, isn't it? Is the amount of information overload that we're all going through, and actually, you just want someone to show me that a method that I can work without constantly being given a little bit more advice here and there, which then kind of overstimulate us, and then we think you kind of mix messages together that you're trying to give to your kids. This is so valuable, Emma. It really is. I love that you're the work that you're doing there. If I'm out there and I'm interested in having a conversation with you because my nights are being interrupted, or elongated or shortened, whichever term you might use. What's the best way for me to make contact and set up that initial call?
So through my website, yeah, I would say. So that's hushaboo.co.uk. But I'm also on Instagram at Hushaboo Sleep as well. So yeah, I'm on Facebook, but I think most people that tend to, again, around parenting age tend to be on Instagram now. And it would be really odd because I used to be younger than a lot of my clients when I first started. Now I've got a 10-year-old myself, and I've been through that as a parent, and it'd be really strange in another 10 years time when actually my clientele are going to be significantly younger than me. It would be really, really strange to have gone through that journey.
You might even have clients that were clients.
Yeah. Oh, that would be, yeah, one day I'll still be here. That would be very, very sharp. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there's lots of people through Bishop Stortford that are walking around now having, decent night's sleeps that can be thankful for your work, Emma. So thank you ever so much for that. Are you ready for some Stortford Spotlight questions now? Fantastic. These are 3 super fast questions that we ask every guest that come on the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast. First question. If you could put one sentence on a billboard in Jackson Square, what would it say and who needs to hear it the most?
So it actually relates to what we've just been talking about, and it would be to trust your instincts. You, as a parent, know your baby better than anybody else. It would be targeted towards parents that have had far too much information overload and are listening to all the information that's kind of incoming from every angle and have lost their way with actually looking at their own situation. Because so much of what I do and I help parents with is to actually just take a step back, look at your child, look at your situation, look at their personality, your personality, and figure out, right, this is the right route for us as a family. Doesn't matter what a friend's done, doesn't matter what a book has told you, or this little clip on Instagram, whatever it might be. It's trusting your instincts, and just generally the answers are there. You just need to just kind of filter out a few things first, and then you can find it.
The advice that I always give to new fathers, if I ever come across them and they're still in earshot when I start talking to them, is remember, as many books as you might read about parenting, your kid has not read any of them.
No, so true.
The books are all kind of based on their own individual stories, and your kid is going to be different from everybody else's kid that you might have. So don't get lost in that, especially first time dads. They just love the books. Doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't. And you almost just need to almost read one book. If you're going to read a book or listen to a technique, you're better off just taking one piece of advice and just sticking with it, because consistency is everything. And so if you took that piece of advice and you went with it, that will probably yield better results than if you read multiple books and listen to multiple sources and get lots of different opinions. That's when you, I think, lose your way. And it tends to just get diluted.
Yeah, that's the algorithm, isn't it? It's if you save one piece of information that you're going to try and follow, but then the algorithm will just keep firing you more and more stuff about lots of different topics, doesn't it? Good advice. Okay, question 2, Emma. Where do you go in Stortford that you secretly hope never gets too popular?
Well, it's funny because I had thought of the answer to this question and then went to this place on Saturday night, and for the first time it was heaving. So much so I didn't think we were going to get our table, but it's my favourite place to go. It's Bishop's Cave in the High Street, the cheese and wine bar. Have you been?
Go on. No, I know. I walked past there the other day and I thought, nobody's recommended this yet on the podcast.
Really?
So,
then I'm
tell
really
me all
glad.
about it. Yeah.
It's just the staff are just really knowledgeable with pairing cheese and wine. If you're into wine and cheese in any way, shape, or even if you're not and you fancy it, it's just great. I've chatted to the owner a couple of times, and he's brilliant. But even the staff, if he's not there, they are. It's just a lovely little place, and it's you can't go wrong, can you, on a Friday or a Saturday night with having a nice glass of anything and some cheese to accompany. They do really lovely like charcuterie boards. and they're just fab. And it's so lovely to have. Oh, you often have to go into London for things like that, so to have that locally is just great. And yeah, I'd love to see it busy, but I know it was great to see it really busy. Clearly, word is getting out when we went on Saturday, but yeah, I still want to get a table.
Is it the kind of place that you'd need to have a meal before going to, or you could just?
No. I mean, look, if you really wanted to go for it, you could. But I
Yeah.
personally saved my appetite for there because I am always full when I leave. There's enough cheese. There's enough cheese and
Oh, good.
meats and olives. Yeah, no, it's lovely. They do other little side
Yeah.
dishes as well if you've got good appetite.
Fantastic. My wife will be very interested in that. She was devastated by being pregnant that she can't have,
Oh, yeah,
all the charcuteries and things like
brilliant.
that.
Yeah.
I remember our first anniversary, we went to Paris and she was pregnant, so she couldn't have
No,
basically most of the things we
any of
went
it, yeah.
to Paris to have. She couldn't have any of it.
That's
But she
not a
got
good
some great
place to be
photographs of
present.
me enjoying the wine and the cheese and the charcuterie, but not for her. That's a great recommendation. Thanks ever so much for that, Emma.
No worries.
Okay, last question. Who's doing something special in town that more people need to know about?
So I've been working with an amazing woman called Katie Leonard for the last probably couple of years now. So she has got two businesses. She does Mamas Who Brunch, which does what it says on the tin. It's brunches for mums and dads if they fancy coming along. And it's just a place to create connection and chat as well as obviously eat. And then she also runs Mama's Little Black Book, which is a parenting directory, but also creating community. So one of the things I'm now doing for her in Bishop Stortford is running walks, community walks, which I used to do a few years ago and I really missed. And so I have asked her if I can run some of her walks in Bishop Stortford. So we've been doing them for the last couple of months and we've already had a few mums come along. But I'm really looking to try and build that network and community with mums in the area, because when I used to do my community walks, I just found that, again, going back to the confidence building, it's just really nice to be able to just have a brief chat with a mum and you can see other mums chatting, they're chatting about the same thing. Everyone's going through that shared experience and just realizing that you're not alone. And it can be overwhelming, it can be quite scary, it's difficult, it's really difficult, especially as first time round when you don't really know what you're entering into. So I love doing the walks, but she's all across Hertfordshire, and I think she's also venturing into London as well, but for Bishop Stortford itself, she has created these lovely brunches and already a really lovely little community, so we're just trying to extend those with a free version of what she does. But her brunches are great, and I think I just think it's so important to have that community in whatever form that comes in.
Yeah, and I think with the way that Bishop Stortford is growing, there's mums that are in Bishop Stortford now that don't have a network and they've got kids and they need to get out and they need to meet people and they need to build that network, not just for now, but when the kids are older, they want to be able to share their stories and troubles and successes and things like that with each other. So building those networks up now is really, really important. Is there a special link for those events?
So the walks itself, ideally sign up to them, so just we know we're not, we've got people showing up that we're not going to head off and walk. I've got a WhatsApp group with initially, if someone wanted to come along, then go to her website, which is Mama's Little Black Book .co.uk, and you can sign up to the walks on there, and then come along to the first one, and then they can be added to the WhatsApp group.
Wonderful. Okay, well, we'll put a link to that in the show notes so people can follow along there. And where's the best place for people to follow you, Emma, online?
Instagram at Hushaboo Sleep.
Wonderful. We will link to that as well so people can follow along and reach out. I'm sure you get lots of DMs asking for advice and support on there. Emma, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me.
Not a problem. Not a problem. If you've enjoyed this episode, the best way to support the show is to hit follow, leave a quick review on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify, where Emma listens to the show. She promises me. And then share it on your socials or with someone in town who you think should hear it. And if you've got someone out there that you think is creating community groups, that is building community, making this a better place for us to live, that we should feature on the podcast, drop their name in the comments below and I can reach out to them and invite them on to the podcast. That's how Emma jumped on with this. Sue Tillett recommended Emma to me, and that's why we've had the podcast today. So drop their name below and we can reach out and make it happen. Again, Emma, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.